What's up everybody, it's Max Clausen, and today I'm going to be bringing you guys the long anticipated and requested, actually to my surprise, Yubel deck profiles. So I have been getting comments in my previous Yubel video about, when is there going to be a new update for the Legacy of Destruction, and I did say in my Chimera video that I did have this deck building in the works, so I got you all guys, and I appreciate all the love and support that you have been giving me with all the new subscribers, the commentary, all of that. So shout outs to you all as well. And there are some choices in here that I have taken from other Yubel videos and Yu-Gi-Oh deck profiles. One of them I want to give a shout out to is Turntable Gaming. So if they ever see this, shout outs to them. Us Yubel players gotta stick together. But enough rambling, I want to get into this profile for you guys. I'm going to be showing you the main extra inside, and dual videos will be coming up after this. So let's go in and see the spice. For starters, we are going to be rocking the standard Yubel Terra Incarnate, the one Yubel. These are the only two original forms that you will need to run until we get the Phantom of Yubel. Seeing Yubel itself in your hand is never hardly too much of a brick, because if you have Nightmare and Pain, you can use Yubel's effect when it gets destroyed to summon Terra Incarnate, and these are all you run. No more, no less. We still run the 3 Spirit. It's a good battle trap, so against Tenpai this can come up unless they have Meteor Burst or Samurai Destroyer on the field, but against all other deck matchups, you want this card in your hand as much as you can, both to get your different combo started and to have battle protection. But when you get attacked, you can when they declare an attack, you can summon it to your hand. So even if you have a monster on the field, just summon it, and on special summon, it sets or adds a Yubel spell or trap card, or a spell or trap card that mentions Yubel to your hand, or set it to the field. So it does play around Joel. And do not let other Yubel players cheat you, or don't try cheating yourself. This card cannot search out Nightmare Throne. Nightmare Throne specifically says Yubel monsters. It doesn't say Yubel exactly. So yeah, this card cannot search out Nightmare Throne. We are still rocking the one Shivara, the only Unchained monster you do need in the pure Yubel build, I would say. Sucks when you draw it, but it still is a good hand trap dodging effect card that you can utilize. I do still only use the 2 Beckoning Beasts. This card, you can bump it up to 3 if you so choose. It's not a combo starter, it's an enabler and extender, but it doesn't get all of your combos started outright by itself. So there are, like I said, there are arguments where you can run all 3 of it. Fluctuating, just run however many you decide to choose. I might bump them up to 3 myself, but we'll see. Next, we do still play the 3 Samsara Lotus. This is your 1 card full start combo starter. If your opponent imperms or veilers anything or ashes anything, they want to hit this card. This card, retribute it, summon a Yubel monster from your deck, and at the end phase, if you control the original Yubel. I've seen other duel videos or actual real life duels where the opponent summons Samsara while having Spirit on the field or Terra Incarnate. That is an illegal summon or activation. You have to have this Yubel, because it even states you have to have a Yubel. If it said if you have a Yubel monster, we'd be lit, but it does not. And during your opponent's turn, it can change a monster's effect to destroy a Yubel you control. This affects game state, not the monster itself. I know it's kind of weird, but if you follow, this will always just alter what is basically written on the monster's card text. Next, we do still run the 3 Gruesome Grave Squirmer, the very important card. Until we get Phantom, you'll probably be wanting to play this at 3. When Phantom of Yubel comes, you can run this down to 2, but you want to see this card as much as possible, because not only is it an extender, it is from the hand, it's an extender from the graveyard. So while you control a fiend monster, you can special summon it, and then you can, all in one effect, destroy one face-up monster on your field. So it can help trigger off your Yubel monsters, or even your Unchained from the graveyard. And while it's in the graveyard, you can banish it and summon back one of your fiends with 0 attack and defense. Next up, for the supporting cards, we do play the 3 Kashtira Fenrir just to have a body to summon on the board for extra link plays, and to have as a pressure card, because sometimes having a Fenrir and just some other things behind it can really detriment your opponent. One little thing, I will be changing this for the Kashtira Unicorn when my playset gets here, so you can run this or Unicorn, but Unicorn I feel might be better in this current meta, because there are a lot of extra deck things that really, hinder our deck. Next, for the nice little spice that I did find out and come across in profiles, is 3 Tour Guide of the Underworld. And you may be wondering what this card is going to be summoning. We're back in the Burning Abyss days with the 1 Fiendish Rhino Warrior. God, I wish it's got a higher printing. Yeah, Tour Guide is just another normal summon of the deck that can really get your plays started. If your opponent knows what you're playing and you normal summon this, most times they will wonder if they should ash that or wait for you to possibly summon the Samsara Lotus. But having this is great because it extends in a Fiendish Rhino Warrior, summoning any level 3 Fiend monster from your deck. And when Fiendish Rhino Warrior hits the graveyard by any means, you can dump a Fiend monster from your deck to the graveyard. So if you already have any of these in the graveyard, and you can send Gruesome effect, summon back this, or summon back the Lotus, it's all just so amazing, and really nice that these old cards can see some meta play once again. That is it for the monster lineup. Let's get into our spell count. We're rocking with the 3 Nightmare Throne, and the 3 Nightmare Pain, and the obligatory 4th Nightmare Throne being Terraforming. Nightmare Throne, upon activation, you can add or destroy a fiend with 0 attack and defense from your deck. And once per turn, when a Yubel monster you control leaves the field by a card effect, you can add to your hand from your grave, banished pile, or deck 1 Yubel monster that's 1 level higher or lower, and then summon it, ignoring its summoning conditions. So this is how we cheat out our Terra Incarnate. And like I said before, this cannot be searched with Spirit of Yubel. It sucks, but we have to deal with that. Nightmare Pain is our next very important card. This is how you win all of your games with just your Yubel monsters. Any damage your opponent would take, your opponent takes instead. And once per turn, you can activate this effect to destroy a dark monster on your field or in your hand, to search a Yubel card or a card that mentions it. And at the activation, the declaration of activating that effect, they have to ash it, because once you declare it, they have no response. Then you destroy. And Terraforming is Terraforming. Next, we have the 1 Opening of the Spirit Gates, another good card. Like I said, you bump this up or bump this down depending on how many Dark Beckoning Beasts that you have. If you play 3, you play 2 of this. But since we're only playing 2, we play 1 of this card. This card has the effect that it will search Dark Beckoning Beast on activation, but it has 2 other very powerful effects. The first being that you can discard 1 card for cost, and then you target a Fiend monster with 0 attack and defense in your graveyard to special summon it. So if you have a Dark Beckoning Beast and you have, say, Spirit of Yubel in your hand, you can ditch the Spirit of Yubel, then summon it right back to the field, because the requirement was to discard first, then summon. And while you control a level 10 monster, you can add a continuous spell back from your graveyard to your hand. So always recurring your Nightmare Pain or your Mature Chronicle that, spoiler, we do play. Speaking of, here it is, the 1 Mature Chronicle. All the effects of this card are super reliable. We only use the top 4 cards because if you might have noticed, we're not maining the Super Poly. I'm trying to see how this deck can do without that card, and it does decently okay. So you can play it if you want to, or play it if you don't. Ritual Chronicle has 4 effects, as we know. The first one, you summon a Yubel monster, Yubel from the graveyard. The second is that you add one of your banished cards back to your hand. The third, you banish a card on the field, and fourth, you destroy a card on the field. So this is a very good card, and it is nice that it's starting to see play. And this card gains counters infinitely, so it doesn't have a max. So yeah, go off with that. We do play the 1 for 1 to get our Gruesome Grave Squirmer or our Samsara D Lotus out of the deck. We have the Harpy Feather Duster for back row clearing, and the one Called by the Grave to stop hand traps. Now into our trap lineup. We run the Eternal Favorite at 1 simply because this card does nothing on its own. It has 2 good effects, but again, if the Yubel is nowhere, it's irrelevant. The first effect is that you can summon a Yubel from your graveyard or banish, and neither player can activate monster effects when that monster is summoned. So it can make your opponent's monsters miss timing or just not activate at all. However, the good thing is that when you summon that monster in response to a card, like say they activate a spell card to search or whatever, you chain this to summon Spirit. Spirit will summon, they get their search or effect off, and then you can activate Spirit's effect. The second effect is the Super Poly, as everybody knows, but you have to control the original Yubel to activate it. Next, we do have the Abominable Chamber, just to get our Unchained monsters out of the graveyard. Next, for our only hand trap, is the 3 Infinite Impermanence, and I am choosing to main deck still the 2 Skill Drains. This may be counterproductive with the Infinite Impermanence, but in the cases that we do go second, you want to have the Imperm because Skill Drain is only a going first card, so if we go first, we hope to see it, but if we don't, we still have Infinite Impermanence to do its job. That's it for the main deck, a clean 40 cards. Now into the extra deck. We are still maining, obviously, the 1 Loving Defender Forever. Since we are main decking Eternal Favorite, we do have to play this card just to have it as a last chance kind of thing. We have the rank 10s that never change, the Gustav Max, the 1 Varudrus, and the 1 Super Dreadnought Rail Cannon. Obviously, to negate anything and then destroy stuff, so it's Abominable Unchained in XC form, and burn for damage, and then attack twice for overlethal. I eventually will be getting Ravenous Tarantula to add into this pile, so that can be another option. If you guys don't have this card, you can run Tarantula. For the link package, we have the Almirage, the 1 Macraker, the new edition being the Doolittle Chimera or Piccola Chimera Pigura. Mainly its effect, all fire monsters gain 500 attack points, and water monsters get lowered, I believe. But its other effect is that if this card gets destroyed, you can add a fire monster from the graveyard back to your hand. But you will see what this is in here for later on. I am running the 1 Abyss Actor Super Producer. It's a decent card that can come up if you have other cards. You don't have to play this. You can replace it with another rank 10 or if you choose so, but its main effect is that you can destroy a face-up card on your field, so with this deck it really helps. We do have the SP Little Knight, the 1 Unchained Soul of Rage, can't wait to upgrade this card, the Soul of Yama, the re-edition of Soul of Anguish. This literally does what Blue Dog does. We have the Promethean Fire Princess, yes sir, your boy got a copy of it, which would help you control the tempo of the game to an extent as well. We have, as you've seen on the thumbnail, our boy Nightmare Griffin. This card is so sick. So how I feel is that, this is definitely the way to play the Yubel decks now, just turbo to getting this card out, because if you don't have Skill Drain, then you go into this. If you don't have Skill Drain, you don't go into this. And this can just pretty much contend with a lot of things that are in the meta right now. Anything that's not linked cannot activate their effects that are special summoned. And then we do have the 1 Appaloosa. she's going to get banned at some point, so you know, play her while we have her, and we will upgrade her as well. Now for the side deck, it's a little interesting, so keep in mind. For the runic stun matchup or whatever, I do have the Grinder Golem because they never really put monsters on the field for us to ram into, so this is a way we can just force that on them. Next, we do play the only other hand trap being the Viral because we don't care how big the token is. We're Yubel. We like however big your monster is because then we can crash into it. Next, for mainly the Snake Eye and the Voiceless matchup, we have the Soul Release. For back row hate, we have the Lightning Storm. Now for our traps, we do main side the Rivalry of Warlords because we're all fiends. We do have the better version of D-Barrier in Symbol Archfiends. This card is so sick. You don't have, how this card works, you don't have to wait for your opponent to summon something from the extra deck. You can just activate it when they go into something, be it a Synchro, Xyz, Link, or Ritual. They can no longer do any more of that for the rest of the turn. The Rune of Karma Cannon for the Tenpai matchup, and it can come up in the Snake Eyes and Voiceless Voice, and the last being the third Skill Drain. That is it for my updated Yubel deck profile. Let me know what you guys think of it down in the comment section below. Again, I really enjoy getting feedback, seeing you guys' comments on both the duels and the deck profiles. Next profile coming up, I hope you enjoy it because it is going to be Chimera. So, with all that being said, be sure to like the video if you enjoyed, subscribe to the channel for more content, and be sure to try checking out my Patreon. It is still a little barren, but with your help, we will start adding more and more to it as we grow as a community and, you know, player base. So, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.